Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. Sorry there's no video out yesterday. I was recuperating from going to Phoenix with my eldest son. We both participated in a world martial arts tournament, which was awesome, by the way, a lot of fun. And I was dead to the world. I still am a little bit on the groggy side. But what I saw there astonished me. And it wasn't the martial arts part, by the way. But what I saw in the city completely blew my mind. And that's the whole purpose of this video. All right, let me lead into what happened. We arrived, flew into the city, and then we took an Uber from the airport straight to our hotel. $20, quick and easy. I like Uber, by the way. I like not only not having to renting a car, finding parking spots, all that stuff, but you know what? Pays somebody. A lot of people have Uber, sometimes even part-time jobs, sometimes full-time, where they can do on their own hours, by the way, go out and drive people around and make pretty decent money. And I love the conversations I have with the people. I'm such a social person. Now, when we got to our hotel, it really reminded me of a 15-minute city, because right in the downtown area, you could walk 15 minutes, everything you need, be it restaurant or going from our hotel to the convention center for the tournament. Everything was right there, even a grocery store. However, you walk on the outskirts of that and it's all like deserted, rundown area. So it was reminiscent of the 15-minute cities, if you're familiar with that, although there's nothing telling them it's a 15-minute city. I mean, it was hot, 117, 118 degrees there. So a lot of people just stayed indoors or jumped from their hotel room to an Uber to the convention center. We walked. I love walking and getting the exercise. And even more so the human interaction there too, as we walked down the streets and say hi to people. And it seemed like everybody was walking around part of this convention that was happening there. All right, so what happened that astonished me? As we were walking around, of course, you would see Ubers or Lyft, or some people had their own private cars. But what we saw were the completely autonomous cars. Now, a few months ago, we were in Nevada, and they had some of these cars there, but there was a person behind the wheel. They may not have been driving, but this is actually when they were in the testing phase for these cars. And but there was always a person there. But this is the first time I had seen it ever in which the car had nobody in there at all. You'd literally see a car driving down the road, you look in the windows, and not a soul inside. Because they actually were working. There were Uber cars too. They were heading down to pick up the next Uber fare. And of course, besides filming for this channel and other channels too, I always have my camera and I film everything as far as just family videos. So I'm filming myself and my son, and I was like, look, Sam, there's no one of those cars, and I would film it going by. I was like, if we get a chance later, I want to see what it looks like sitting still and film inside of it. And sure enough, like on the third day, that's exactly what happened. One of those cars pulled up, and everybody was walking around looking at them. Look at these cars, no drivers, and I've got the camera going in there. And it's got like a little thing on the top flagging saying, hey, your car's ready. So obviously somebody called Uber, and they were in the process of walking over toward it to get in. And they got over there. I was like, is this your car? And they're like, yep, it's our Uber. And this first thing you need to listen. They said that not only is our Uber, but it's cheaper than using just regular Uber. It's cheaper. And I knew this was coming. Uber has plans, by the way, and think about this. They have ultimate plans to make it so eventually no more Uber drivers. That is their goal as one of these other major corporations trying to take away jobs from people. That is their ultimate goal, to make it so there's no people or humans involved in the cars at all. But Uber will own all these lines of cars, self-driving delivery vehicles too, and eventually let's take humans out of the equation. We're seeing this everywhere anyway, aren't we, as far as AI goes? So because of this, these people said, oh, it's cheaper than a regular Uber, not having to pay for the driver. But understand that extra money paying for the driver still should be paying for the car, because Uber has to pay. I mean, it was a nice car. I can't remember what maker model it was, but it was probably like $40,000, even if it's $30,000. But on top of that, all of the actual devices that are spinning on it, and the LiDAR and whatever it's called, all that stuff to make it so the car's automatic, they had to pay for that as well. Not to mention any type of research and development, not to mention all the people who had to be in the car a few months ago to make sure. I mean, Uber put a lot of money into this. Instead of actually saying, oh, you know what, you can actually get a regular Uber, and let's say it's $20 for your trip, some of that money goes to the driver. You think they would say, well, it's $20 for this car also, it just happens to be automated. No, they are cutting the price. And obviously, at least for the time being, are losing money, obviously. Let's say it's only $15, only $5 off. Of course, most people are going to be like, oh, I want the $5 off, but that's not the astonishing part. And here we go. Here's the problem with this. I want you to think about this. All the people who were looking at the car, all the people who were walking past and saying, look at this driverless car, because everybody knows this is what's coming. All the people getting into the car weren't getting in there saying, oh my gosh, we have to have a robot driving us. They were loving it. They thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Look at this. I mean, I'm a techno nerd too. I love technology. I love all these cool gadgets that come out. Not that I necessarily buy into them. It's just I love the technology and understanding how we figured it out. I love that stuff. But all these people, it was such a big thrill without thinking about the implications of this, including people in our group, by the way. Some of the other people who participated in the tournament were walking with us and they're like, this is awesome. This is the future. Yeah. And they're super excited about a future. They're seeing the future of self-driving cars. I'm seeing the future of not just more people out of work, but control. This is ultimately a loss of freedom. Think about it this way. There were some people in our group who, again, my son and I just stayed downtown in a hotel, walk everywhere. But to try to save money, some other people in our group got an Airbnb. It was like a 20 to 30 minute drive. They had to pay for the Airbnb. They had to get a rental car, pay for the gas for the rental car, possibly pay for insurance too if they did that. Most of the time your insurance will cover it. And then the fourth thing is they had to pay for parking once they got downtown, upwards of like $25, $30 a day parking as well. All of those things come into play. And you know what? Do you want to do that, or you just want to pay $15 for an Uber? They're making it really easy for us to make life very easy for us. But in the consequences, they're making it very easy for us to lose our complete freedoms, because by undercutting this, and this is what corporations do best, undercutting everything else, they're making it so, you know what? I have a choice of going to the Airbnb and all that stuff, or you know what? I'm just going to choose to go with the Uber, and the automated Uber that is, and save a lot of money. Especially in times right now with inflation and all the prices of everything going up, interest rates going up, it's making it really easy on us to make it so we shouldn't be purchasing cars, or making it easy on us. So, good luck even finding a gas-powered car soon. That's changing too. But they're making it look like it's easy on us. But what's really happening, it's taking away our freedoms. Because eventually a time's going to come, and mark my words, and here's the moral of the story. You're not going to be able to drive a car. And I'm not even talking about gas prices upwards of $10 a gallon, because that's what they're shooting for, by the way. This is the whole reason why this administration is making all these horrible deals, cutting off getting oil supplies and gas supplies here in the United States. They're doing this to drive the prices up because, of course, they want to switch everything to electric, but they also want to make it so ultimately, inevitably, everything is completely self-driving. And how can they stop you from using self-driving automated stuff, even if you own an electric car? It's really easy. Insurance. Because eventually a time's coming where these self-driving cars, they're figuring it out right now. This AI is getting very intelligent. They're figuring this stuff out. A time's coming where they're going to have, practically speaking, a perfect track record when it comes to these automated cars. Whereas humans, ultimately, we get distracted. We're pretty crappy drivers. And that alone may think, well, maybe we should go to automated. But think about China, and think about how our country is heading in towards socialism. I want you to really think about this. In China, if you are not going with the flow, if you're going against the system, by the way, let me put it that way. If you're going against the system, then your social credit score will go down, and they'll lock you down so you can't travel among provinces. They will lock out the banks so you can't get money. This is not some kind of 1984 dystopia. This is already happening. It is 1984 dystopia in there, but this is reality. This is happening there right now. And as we are heading in the same direction, think about the connection that we have with these automated cars. They're trying to make it so we can't afford regular cars, can't afford the gas, won't be able to afford the insurance. Eventually they're going to make it so only the super elite, if they want to drive a car, could, like they drive anyway, they don't care. But the rest of us will totally depend on either public transportation or automated vehicles taking us places. That is their goal. And mark my words, that's what they are shooting for. Our freedoms will be lost, because understand at that time, if you are completely going against the system, if your futuristic social credit score is down the toilet, those cars will not stop for you. They will not pick you up. If they do, they'll take you inside, and I could really see some automatic locking mechanisms inside, instead taking you down because of that warrant you have out now because of you, things like that. I know it seems kind of like far-fetched, but you know what? So do self-driving cars. And I have people on the channel saying all the time that, oh, you know what? We're years away from that. Now we're here. We're there. In the Southwest, besides these Ubers, we're already seeing some companies have automated trucks, no people at all, going from one distribution center to the next, driving the entire thing completely without a single human. Eventually, a time is coming where us humans, we're going to be taken out of the equation. That's what is coming. And because of this, our freedoms, even more so, are going to be lost to government, to corporations, and that's their plan.